Hey guys, Ben Johnson with Spotter up here to talk to you guys about the PICKETT'S Armory 10.5-inch AR pistol kit. Now, PICKETT'S Armory did send this to Spotter free of charge. I just want to clarify that up front so no one thinks there's any other money being exchanged. There was no ammo provided or anything along those lines. Now, what PICKETT'S Armory does when you purchase from them is when you purchase one of their kits, you can either get a 16-inch or a 10.5. Obviously, we have the pistol kit. So they send you a complete 10.5-inch AR upper, they send an SBA 3 pistol brace, and they send you a Magpul pistol grip. Awesome choice for the pistol brace in my mind. If you're not using an SBA 3 or a 4 for your pistol kit, you're doing yourself a disservice because of the many features that these braces provide. So for the AR upper receiver, you have a 10-inch M-lock rail with the top Picatinny deleted. There are 2 M-lock slots there. If you need a specific mount for your tape switch or for a certain light or something, you do have those M-lock slots. They still retain the Picatinny at the front if you need to mount a front iron sight post, and if you need a specific mount for something right back here, you also have Picatinny here as well. For the muzzle device, they have their PICKETT'S Armory flash can. Now what this does is it doesn't compensate, it does not suppress any flash or anything like that. It simply sends the flash and the noise forward. Personally, when I first saw this, I would have thought I would prefer a A2 birdcage at least, or something like that, something that will suppress the flash and compensate a little bit for you. However, there are a few benefits to this specific can, and the fact that there are many states like Maryland and others that have lists of evil devices that ARs can come with, and a A2 birdcage is a flash hider, and that is seen as something that would be on the restricted list. So this allows them to go through those laws without having to deal with the red tape. Now the barrel is a 10.5-inch 4150 chrome moly. It is a carbine gas length, and it is not chrome lined. So far, accuracy wise, we've only been doing some groups at 50 yards due to the ammo shortage. We've been doing around 2 to 3 inches. Hopefully in the future we will be able to source a bit more ammo and maybe some higher quality stuff to get a true gauge of what kind of accuracy we can expect from this. The upper receiver itself is forged. I don't have much more to say about that. It's pretty much your standard upper receiver. I do not know enough to comment on specifics. I can't gauge things or anything like that because, one, I do not have the money or the skill to use those gauges, and 2, the average buyer that's buying something like this is not really as concerned with something like that. Now they send you a lower parts kit. There is no description on their website for what the lower part kit specifically is, other than saying it's a quality one. I cannot comment on to what quality is, other than to say in the short 250 round test we've been able to do so far, I haven't had any real issues. More time and more rounds through it will kind of tell us whether or not there should be any issues to arise. The only possible issue I could say is that the front pivot pin, the spring for this is extremely tight, and that I need an actual Allen key or just anything that I can press to start that because it is extremely tight. I was told by others afterwards that you can cut a piece of the spring off and that'll release some of the tension and make it a little bit easier for you to remove. I didn't want to do that for this test. 1, I didn't know beforehand, and 2, I kind of want to keep this thing as it comes from the factory just to get it the most true and accurate settings we could. So when you are assembling your lower there are plenty of websites online that give you free information. I use Brownells. They have a great step-by-step guide for putting your lower together, and I cannot stress enough that if I can get the lower together myself, you can do it too. To be honest, I actually didn't get it together myself. My front pivot pin, the spring, went shooting across the room about a dozen times before my wife got fed up with it and used her talents to actually get it in for me because I was having a bad time with that. That's what she said. Anyway, the lower parts kit, I'm actually pretty impressed with the trigger. I was expecting something that would be have a lot more creep and be a lot heavier, but it actually seems to work really well. I'm much more impressed with it than I expected, and from other budget AR triggers, this is definitely surprisingly nice. I did notice a bit more wear on the buffer. I'm not sure if that's something I did or if it's just simply the paint wearing, but we're keeping an eye on that. And so far, no other issues with that. For the bolt, there are more specs online on their website. I am not an armor, as I said, so I'm not going to go into details over specifics because I'm not qualified to talk about that. They have all of their specifics listed online, and I'm sure if you wanted more information, you could contact them directly. In the 250 rounds we've fired, we haven't had any issues with anything other than one failure to eject during the 160 round burn down. I understand 160 rounds is not that much ammo, but when you're running this silly thing my wife likes to call a budget, you're kind of restricted on how much ammo you can put through a gun just to test its durability. Now, when it did have the failure to eject, we simply cleared it out and kept going, and there were no further issues. Since then, we've gotten about 100 more rounds through it. No real issues with reliability or durability. As I said, it's done about 2 to 3 inch groups. And I'm hoping to source more ammo in the future so that we can get a lot further along and do a lot more with this. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at SpotterUp. My email is ben@spotterup.com, or simply visit our website and you can contact one of our other writers there, and we'd love to talk more about this. Thanks for watching.